Hello and good morning everybody, it's your boy D.I.Y investing here, ready for another Monday market overview. Remember the days when Bitcoin was known for its incredible price swings and just massive volatility? Oh, what a time that was. Now it's almost just like Bitcoin's became boring? According to an article published on thestar.com, Bitcoin turns boring as speculative frenzy fades into apathy. The words Bitcoin and boring have rarely been uttered in the same breath, but after a dizzying rally, a gut-wrenching crash, and near constant ups and downs over the past 2 years, the cryptocurrency did something strange in recent weeks. It stayed relatively still. What are we supposed to do? First they complain that the market's too volatile for institutional investors. Now they complain that the market isn't volatile enough? How are we supposed to win? Bitcoin's going to zero. That's all I can say. Sell all of your positions. Exit the market. The Ponzi is collapsed. The ship is sinking. All the profits are gone. Okay guys, maybe I was getting a little bit carried away. I don't actually think that the market is dead and Bitcoin's collapsing right now. Just because the volatility is gone does not mean that the market is dead. This is actually a great time to be taking buying actions because I am expecting prices to move back on the upside here very, very soon. The length of this bear market has been slow. And now that the volatility is gone, people have started to exit the markets. Now this can mean two things, guys. Now, normally what you want to see at the bottom of a market is strong seller capitulation. Obviously, we have not had this the entire length of this bear market, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon. Now, there's one other form of capitulation that can take place, and what that is, when a market becomes increasingly less and less volatile, the prices aren't moving any sort of way, they're just staying in the same area, which we've seen over the last couple months right here. This alone can capitulate the market because people literally just get sick of watching it move sideways. It's not moving quickly enough for them. There's not enough price swings. The average retail investor is more or less gambling when they get into this market. They're looking to buy pumping coins and they're looking for these massive price swings. And right now we just aren't seeing that. The market is relatively dead in comparison to how it usually performs. So instead of seeing a massive sell-off, which capitulates the market, scares everybody out, we could be seeing the alternative of that, which is the market is just so dead, it's not moving, it's so stable right now that the average retail investor just gets completely sick of it. Their morale is down because of the fact that they lost so much money in these price swings and the choppy action, or they bought the top of the market and have just been holding all the way through here. And now they're getting to a point where the market's not moving in their favor. In fact, it's not even moving against them. And so they're just sick of it. And so they'd be more willing to sell and exit their positions than hold through this slow, depressing bear market of zero volatility. So this is what we're seeing right now. And it's something that I've yet to really see inside of crypto. Keep in mind, I got in towards the bottom of 2016. I didn't get to wait through that whole long sideways consolidation of the bottom. We had it around $100 to $200. I got in at about $450 after we broke out. So this is something I've yet to see inside of crypto. And it's quite honestly, it's something I don't really care to see too often, guys. It's really boring. You can't really trade, can't really day trade in this mess unless you're using higher leverage. And it's not as probable for you to want to trade this just because of the fact the price swings aren't as good. You'd be you'd be better off just holding and accumulating rather than trying to mess around with this little stuff in between. Because guys, we're coming to a point where we are going to see some extreme volatility, whether it's up or down. We're at a very decisive point in the market. And so you don't really want to be trying too hard to over leverage your positions or just try and force something that's just not there. Don't ever do that because the more you force a situation, the less it's going to turn out in your favor. So this is what we're seeing with Bitcoin, guys. Once again, we're still just trending into this tight little corner, symmetrical triangle that we've got right here. We're bouncing and tapping this key descending resistance. And so guys, the more that prices react to a certain resistance, the weaker it gets. I know that you guys have heard that from this horizontal support that we've had at 6,000. It also holds true for this descending resistance. For some reason, people don't really talk about that. even though we have bounced off 6,000, we've bounced off of this descending resistance the equal amount of time. So what's to say that it's not going to break on the upside due to the fact we continue to test it over and over and over? And that's what I'm seeing, guys. Even though we have bounced off this 6,000 support, you can tell that it's getting accumulated right here. The degree of trend is lessening, and we're starting to get more of a rounded bottom here before we go on the upside. And I'll draw that here. You can tell that we're starting to round back on the opposite end. We had this sharp degree of trend, and now we're just slowly accumulating around right here before we break out, land on support, and then we start impulsing back on the upside in this much bigger bull move that we are expecting with Bitcoin. So guys, this is the perfect time to be accumulating right now. The degree of trend is weakening. The sellers are slowly dying out. We haven't had that capitulation in volume, but I think that the overall lack of volatility has kind of scared everybody else out of the market just by pure boredom. Not only that, but the article I showed you at the first of the video just shows where we're at as far as market sentiment goes. We are in depression. The market is boring. Nobody wants to touch it right now. That is the perfect indication that you guys need to be buying up this panic, because we probably won't ever see a $6,670 Bitcoin ever again. It's very likely that we're going to break out, and then when this thing starts impulsing and taking off, guys, it's going to go very, very quickly. In fact, it's probably going to happen quicker than this entire move that we had from about $450 up to 20K. So that's what I'm expecting with Bitcoin moving forward. Next, we're going to take a look at a couple altcoins that have caught my eye over the most recent weeks. First on the list today is going to be Zcash. Now, Zcash, the reason why I chose this coin is because it's only worth about $126. At the peak of its price swing, $800. Just right under $800, which from now to previous all-time high is about 5.5, which is about 5.5x. So that's a pretty decent gain, but overall the reason why I chose this coin is because of the fact it is only worth $126. Now, this coin only has a circulating supply of about 4.8 million. You can correct me on that in the comments if I'm wrong, but I know that it only has about 4 million coins. Now, for this coin to go up, it doesn't take very much money to go into this market to boost these prices so high. This is why I chose this coin overall. It looks like we're coming to a near bottom. Now, another reason for choosing this coin, what you want to see whenever you're picking a good coin to invest in is during the retrace and in the bear market of things, that's when you want to see a massive price swing in volume. And the reason for this is because that shows that this market is being heavily accumulated in the bear market. Now, we had the original rally up, as indicated here, but you can tell that the volume in the bear market was much greater than the initial move up, which tells me that people are investing and they are accumulating during this bull market or in this bear market because they are expecting higher highs on the upside. So guys, this is a coin that could very easily perform exceptionally well in the next bull move to come due to the fact that there is such a low supply. There's going to be high demand, and it's going to prop prices to extreme parabolic rises. It's possible that we could finally see Zcash go to 2,000 Bitcoin. Totally kidding. I don't find that likely in the least bit. Nothing's ever going to be worth more than Bitcoin. I can say that with extreme confidence, guys. So this is Zcash. I'm going to be accumulating this personally. We're at a low here at about $126. A lot of the times what I've noticed with these market cycles is they consolidate just below, or they bottom just below the 4 wave right here, and that's exactly what we did. They're right here at this the higher low before we make the impulsive move to the top of the 3 and then retrace into the 4, and that's kind of what we did. If you go back and look at Ethereum's 1 wave, it basically bottomed at this exact same area, and so that's why I'm expecting now to be a good time to be accumulating. You can see lots of sell volume. We had lots of buy volume in here, which is a key indication that the smart money's already came in and bought this dip. So this is a good coin moving forward. Next, we're going to be taking a look at the great Binance Bit. This is a coin that everybody seems to talk about. It's very, very hyped overall. It's an exchange token, which gives you incentives for holding this coin. I'm going to move to a shorter time frame. So you get incentives by holding this coin. And what that means is if you hold this coin, you get your exchange fees knocked off a bit instead of holding Bitcoin as your overall currency on their exchange. Now, this is the exchange for Binance, obviously. And let's actually go to not a log chart. So this one had a very historic and massive price swing on the upside. And now we're slowly just retracing in this next move. Now, I was actually calling for lower lows in this cycle, and I don't know if we're still going to get that. We kind of just have to wait and see. We're at a point where it looks like we could easily be getting accumulated right now. We have maintained somewhat of an uptrend in this little area for about a month. So we're just going to have to wait and see. Now, for this to continue on its uptrend, it would be very weird as far as what I'm used to seeing inside of crypto. This is still consolidating in its 5 wave. Usually you see coins come down, consolidate in the 3 to 4, and even sometimes below the 4. But this is a coin that was very, very parabolic in the initial move up. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see that. As you can tell, the retraces in this market cycle have been very small. And that pattern may just continue to happen as we continue to advance in this cycle. But I wanted to show you a comparison between this chart and Ethereum, because they do look very, very similar. Now, obviously, you guys remember 2017 when Ethereum made its massive price swing from about $8 to $450, and then all the way up to $1,450. So I wanted to show you guys this chart because it's very similar to Binance coin or bit, whatever you want to call it. We had the initial move up, the 1, the 3, and then the 5, and then we had the ABC retrace. A, B, C. A, B. And now it's possible that we go lower. In fact, I still feel like we need some capitulation inside of the alts. It's possible that we don't, though, guys. Like I said, this is a coin that's held its value very, very well compared to most of the altcoin market. And so this is a pattern that can continue to happen, or it's a pattern that's just going to fall once we get a Bitcoin breakout. Maybe it'll bleed this coin a little bit, and then we'll move on the downside a little bit. But guys, based off of everything that I've seen with crypto, it makes more sense to me that we see a breakout in Bitcoin and it bleeds a lot of these altcoins, and we do see that little bit of capitulation because we just have yet to see that. Now, Ethereum was one of the best altcoins. It's still number 2. XRP's flipped it a couple times, but overall it stayed number 2 throughout the course of its existence. Now, Binance Bit, being a very good fundamental coin that has lots of value in it, you would think that it would behave similarly to some of these bigger altcoins that have just continued to perform exceptionally well compared to the rest of the market. Now, based off of this, we do need somewhat of a sell-off that would take us a little bit lower. But keep in mind, this 5 wave in Ethereum was much smaller compared to this 5 wave in Binance. So it is very possible that we could just continue in this cycle and move on the upside. So my plan moving forward is going to be accumulate right now while prices are at a relative low. Once they go lower, continue to accumulate, because it's hard to call the exact bottom. In fact, it's practically impossible to do that. If you sit here and wait for an exact bottom, you're going to get left behind in the market more often than not. So this is what I'm going to be doing moving forward. Next, we're going to take a look at the total market cap. All right, guys, taking a look at the total market cap, I've drawn a couple different resistance zones. Right here, this green line is indicated by the falling wedge that we've been traveling in throughout the length of this bear market. Now, this red one is the major descending resistance that we have from the high of the move all the way through. Now, we've broken through the resistance of this falling wedge here, and now we're starting to work on this outer resistance layer, which is the final resistance of this cycle. If we can get a key breakout and come up here and test about 238 billion, or $240 billion, that's going to be extremely bullish, and that's going to point that we have broken all key resistance and we are going to move back on the upside in this bull market. Now, it looks as if we could be seeing this inverse head and shoulder pattern. Right now, we are traveling inside of this little pennant, this little bull pennant. And so we can either get a bull break out of this, or we can fall and make a bearish break out of this. But it's looking more and more bullish as I watch this. So guys, overall the market looks very bullish to me. Less and less volatility. Prices are staying relatively the same. Altcoins are painting very good setups. And now it looks like we're getting a bullish setup inside of the market cap before we move forward in this cycle. Because guys, based off of Elliott waves, we've had the 1, the 3, and now the 5 would take us up to about $248 billion. And a breakout of this pennant seems likely because of the fact we're in this 3 wave. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you found this video helpful, always remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more updates in the future. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.